Boys will be boys, keys, and the prom. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do. Good morning, Starshine.
The sun says hello.
Hello.
How are you, Pickle? Good morning, Melissa.
Did you just call me Pickle?
Yes, I've started calling everyone Pickle for some reason, and that's just the ones I love.
I like the name Pickle.
Hello, Pickle.
I don't know why, but I like the name Pickle. How are you?
I'm surprisingly odd this morning.
I don't think any of our listeners are surprised by that fact, but carry on. Carry on.
I think I'm having this morning's a little rough.
Don't say mental break. Don't say mental break. Don't say mental break.
Those are so boring. I'm just saying I didn't have hardly anything to drink. I even stopped drinking mid-drinking. I didn't have anything to drink at all.
And then she
hiccuped. I had nothing to drink. I'm sorry. The hiccups they're not for show. They're just the universe is playing a prank on me for me to be hiccuping while I'm saying that sentence, or hicking up, as someone I once loved said, which is hilarious. So I didn't even have, I'm telling you, I probably had 3 glasses of wine over an entire evening. That's not enough. That's nothing. That's not, I could say to you plausibly, I didn't even drink yesterday. That's how little of alcohol. And the last glass of wine I didn't finish. I set on the counter. So I don't get it. I'm just sluggish.
You foggy today?
Foggy and groany groggy. I had a very big week.
I mean, I got high all night last night, but today I can't imagine why I feel groggy.
Culminating in a very big day. And I think that those accumulated stressors just kind of went, you're done. And they weren't negative stressors, but it's a real thing to have a lot of action. And they have a stress response, right? So I almost feel like it was like, you go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Oh, the other thing is, I also forget the fact that I did wake up in the middle of the night twice. Maybe that's it. Once at 2 to call an Uber for my son, and then another time at 3:30 because an alarm was going off in our house that we forgot we had. And I lay there, and I was the only one listening to it. And I thought, I shouldn't wake up my softly snoring lover. I shouldn't wake him up. But fuck you. You're the man. Sexism works. It's a thing. And so I roused. Wake. What's that? I don't hear anything.
I think what you mean is
I don't hear anything.
Sexism works in one direction. Let me use it to my benefit.
I just felt like
it's worked so hard against me for so long.
Cognitively, I knew there was no intruder. And yet I was not getting out of that bed. I had worked so hard for my mere moments of sleep. I don't know. I felt like this is your work. This is your work. It's not my work. It's not my mission to get up.
I'm immediately annoyed that you had to call an Uber at 2 a.m. for your son. I'm assuming, let's start at the top. You sent a kid to the prom yesterday. Is this true?
I sent many kids to the prom yesterday.
One of yours, I mean.
Indeed, it's fair. It's true. So this is the senior prom at a school where proms historically are treated as such a joke. They barely go, literally barely go. They show up for photographs, they dance for one song, and they would leave. They used to make them sign agreements that they would not physically leave the prom, at least for 1 hour. So long story short, this year it was organized by a vast and many different folk, and they did it like a prom should be done. It's at a restaurant where so it's not just like in a stupid place. They had a meal served to them. They had a live band. I mean, that's something you would want to go to.
Right.
So the kids made a plan. They had a party bus to manage their transportation. They pooled all their cars so that no one would have to think about driving for any reason. They got together early and got photographs at the country club. It was all super well orchestrated. And I said to my son, well, you don't have a car. How are you going to take, we're calling her a guest and not a date, even though I don't know what to say to you. I said, well, how are you taking your guest home? Right? And he's like, oh, because he hadn't actually thought of it. And I think the party bus being transport for everybody everywhere all the time, I think they just figured if we start in one place where she started, she'll get home from that place. Well, of course, they didn't end up in the place they started. So nobody had cars, and what are we doing? And I had told him before he left, is the reason that you don't have your car because you don't want to risk having anything at all in your system and then having keys in your hands? And he said, yeah. I said, that's great. I will call an Uber for you whenever you need it. You don't worry about getting home. Don't ride with someone who's had something to drink. That's stupid. Don't drink and drive. And if you need an Uber at any time, get one. If you can have the party bus drop you at your house, do that, because I've paid for this party bus. But of course, 2:30 something, can I get an Uber? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can absolutely get an Uber for someone who's driving that's not you and not me.
So did you turn on the volume of your phone? Because I know you're usually on vibrate. Unless we're recording, and then
it's on the
full sound. Full sound.
Stop! I did put it on quiet for today. Some things can work. I did sleep. I help. Okay, I'm going to use the words.
I want to know why an alarm in your house did not really rouse you, but a phone call did.
No, the alarm woke me up. It didn't wake my husband up. And here's the thing. I held the phone in my hand and went to sleep with it in my hand next to my face like a pillow because I sleep on my hand. Do you do that? Do you put your face on your hand?
No, but I've slept with you and I know you sleep with your hand on your face.
I'm like a cuddler. I'm cuddling myself. I put my hands down. I sleep on my, like the little angels when they show you they're sleeping. You put your head, like the emoji for going to sleep is putting your head on your two hands. That's how I act physically sleep. It's good, gang. I'm telling you, you should try it. These angels, they know. They're close to Jesus.
These angels.
Just figure it out. They know.
I only know Charlie's angels. Those are the only angels I know.
Those heaveners, they know.
All right, so you're sleeping with the phone and the phone rings and you're like, get the boy an Uber. So that's why, it's part of the reason. Interrupted sleep twice is the reason you're foggy.
It's kind of not good. It's super bad, I think.
You took lots of pictures yesterday. You saw...
I took tons of pictures, and because I went to this Jamaica party with all these people, I knew everyone there. It was so weird, and they were all coming up to me. One came up to me in a way that I don't even think it was a joke. I think he just doesn't know how to behave in the world, and it was like I really fought the urge to be super mad at him because I was like, I think he doesn't know that what he's doing is so enraging.
Oh my God, what was he doing?
So we're all outside. The kids are standing around like geese. They don't have any coordination. They're just wandering. They're not collected together. It's nothing. Organize yourselves. Nothing. So of course I start barking orders. Go that. Blah, 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 blah. No, that's wrong. Stand in front of this tree. Oh,
Turn
that's
your
better.
head that way, right?
Then the spray's like, okay.
The paparazzi.
So I had gotten everybody organized. I'm trying to squeeze in between these parents so that now I can get a place, and I held my phone up, and this man who I never made eye contact with him because you know the stance. You are holding your phone in front of your eyes, facing away, thumb poised to take the picture. Both hands on the phone. He's taller than me, as all humans are, reaches over, grabs my hand at the wrist while holding the phone, while taking a picture in front of posing children who are difficult to pose, grabs the wrist, holds it, and shakes it. Shakes it repeatedly. I don't make eye contact with him. I go, hey. And he goes, hey, how are you? Shakes it again. As if shaking my hand, like vigorously shaking.
So what is his problem?
So the phone is going.
Surprised you still held it.
On, and they're like eating fried chicken at a Wendy's somewhere. Like it just doesn't. I lost the shot. So, and I don't know who it was.
Oh, you don't know?
Because I just looked up and I was like, hey. And I'm thinking, dude, where's your situational awareness? Really?
This is the second week in a row where a man has come into your space, a man who either knows you or loves you, one or the other.
Oh,
and
he was definitely big on love. Yeah.
Wildly inappropriate with his verbiage or actions. When do we throw an elbow as women and say, that is not okay? I don't know how you've gotten away with this for as long as you have, but the comments, I shared your story about weight with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
I have a full house today and I could not be happier.
Yay!
And I can't.
I'm amazed we're even recording. Good for you.
So I shared that with her and she said, that actually can't be because men know never to talk about a woman's weight, period. And actually she used the word appearance. She used the word appearance, and I said, especially weight, right? Because those are things, parts of your appearance, like shape of things that God gave you, and are things you, for the most part, genetics play the role in. Nobody says, could you believe she couldn't finish that marathon because she had a heart attack? I liked her when she had chips and palpitations. What happened to...
Right.
Why don't they know, A, number one, always, you do not put hands on a woman. And B, your second was from last week, is when do you ever think it's okay to talk about a woman's appearance? And I mean on both sides. When somebody says to me, oh, you lost weight, I think, oh, why the oh? Like I still can't wrap my brain around. I didn't do it for you. By the way, this isn't about you. I can look at you right now, Amy, and see you're a smaller human than you were when we started. Like you're just slowly withering away in this tiny cell I have on my laptop. And I'm thinking,
our little thumbnail.
With your thumbnail is shrinking, and I'm thinking, besides give me her coffee with the frothiness on top, I'm like, add a girl. But that's not Amy doing something for me. That's Amy doing something for Amy and her family and being a part of it and feeling good about herself. You look great. If you want to say something, just say, dear men, dear listener men, just say, you look great. You doing something different? It's whatever it is, keep it up. It's working. You look good. Appreciate us without asking or telling us you don't want us to do it, or asking us to show more, do more. Like what, who taught you? What are you doing? Stop. Let me help you. Stop.
It's so strange. And it really relates to food culture and food pushing, which is an absolute standard venerated practice.
That's how you show love, right?
That's
love.
And it also is how you really can mess with somebody. It's in alcohol pushing. There's just a lot of this stuff that's baked in that it probably is akin to gender pronouns in that it's so ingrained. It almost feels affronting that we have to stop and think about what we're saying and why we're saying it, because you don't even realize what you're doing to mess somebody else up. And once you have that realization,
the knowledge,
you can think to yourself, oh, okay, I get it. Well, there's a different way for me to express, I want to show you hospitality. I want to make sure that you're cared for. I want to make sure that you are receiving something that feels like a treat and my highest and best. How can I do that in a way that doesn't unravel everything that you have clawed to get to about eating and food and mindset?
I know that you're not looking for it, and I am, but this is Amy's third act.
What?
If you can't see clearly that the things that have affronted you, there's a better way, and I'm going to show you what it is. You can come to my house and you can enjoy things in the exact way you described as a treat and comfort and show my love without giving you all the alcohol. You're in a program you can't drink anyway, all the food that's not really on your ketoness. If there's a way, this is your challenge. This is the Fugazi way. This is the way. This is your Mando.
I am the Mandalorian, and I would super eat that sandwich. Can I just do a TikTok boob leg? I don't understand that meme where Pedro Pascal, I know, is sitting in the corner and eating that sandwich and then having they put a judgy thought. I don't get that. Do you understand that meme?
I haven't seen it.
It's all right, then it must not be a thing. I'm just saying, there's a meme with him in it. He's sitting in the corner. They stitch him in or whatever. And he just sits there loudly eating some crunchy sandwich. And then they say, judgy, 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 rude thing. I don't get it. There's so many memes that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
The cats dancing, I'm getting a lot of cat dancing videos now. Thank you. And also not thank you. Whatever the unthank you is. What's that? My brain's not quick enough this morning. Unthank you for the cat videos. They're really funny. They do disco cat. They hold the cats up from their armpits and then they just wobble them so that their giant cat belly looks like it's undulating disco style. And the cat's just staring at the thing like, I hate you. And it's so funny because that's how it feels like German disco. It's awesome. I'm so cool, but I'm also sexually attractive to you.
Like Pitch Perfect, that group that you
guess.
Absolutely, the Germans that you loved, but love to hate to love.
Perfect. I love it.
They used to have them where
Anyway.
you're just holding the cat to see if it would swing like a pendulum.
Yeah, but it's like she's juicy
But
and
now
she's
they're
trouble.
dancing.
And the stomach's going plomp, 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 and this big furry ball is like wafting. It's awesome.
Okay. So
Third act, got it, made notes, check.
I hope you did. But some of this
I don't know how to monetize it, but I'll get there.
Well, you monetize it by having your TikTok channel, and you're the Martha Stewart of, oh, you can't eat that? Try this.
I'm the Martha Stewart of shut the fuck up, Bob.
No, because she wouldn't say that. She would just shame him with a pear tart that had no pears or tarts.
Oh, speaking of which, can I just tell you?
Yeah.
Do you do any of that Kodiak pancake mix for high protein?
No.
So if you were looking for high protein in your diet,
Yeah.
Kodiak is a brand
Yep.
they have these batters that you can make.
They have it
If
at
you make
Target, yeah.
If you buy it and then you make it, but also add in without changing anything,
Cottage
a
cheese.
scoop of protein powder.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change the taste, right? Because it's already got a little protein. And then just make it with blueberries. The kids will eat it. They think they're having blueberry pancakes. But here's what I do. I take a pear and I slice it thinly, and then I put butter in a saute pan, and I arrange the pear slice side down in a little fan so that the pear gets like a circle, pretty pear in the pan. And then that starts to get nice and browned and buttery and yummy. I dollop and pour the pancake batter on top, let it sizzle and cook. Then slide that giant spatula under there, flip the fucker over, and now you have like a super quick frangipan. Well, the other thing
Beautiful.
is you have
Yeah.
to add in some almond extract too when you're doing, but I mean, you would have done that without me telling you. Oh my God. And it's so good. Don't laugh.
You would have done that without me telling you?
Well, of course you put in almond extract when you're making pancakes and vanilla.
Sure, as one does.
Yes, as one does. Are you trying to tell me? Okay, let's stop for a second. Let's say you're making pancakes and they come from a box. It's okay. It's okay. Box pancakes are great. I make them myself. But you're not going to just take the box and follow the instructions on the box, right?
Mine come in a jug.
Yes.
I add water and I
And you
shake the fuck out of it.
Shake. That's called, I think those are from Bisquick, maybe?
Yep, they
Okay.
sure are. I shake the fuck out of it. I butter a pan.
Bingo.
I lay them thinly in there while adding chocolate chips. And then
Perfect.
I flip the fucker when there are bubbles.
Delicious. Add a teaspoon
Yeah.
of vanilla extract the next time you do that
Yeah.
to the batter.
Okay.
You'll be happy. And another thing that I like to do sometime is take some brown sugar.
Yeah.
When you've put the chocolate chips on that top flipper layer, put a little tiny, incredibly tiny sprinkle of brown sugar on top after the chips, and when you flip it, and it really aids that idea of caramelization. So when the butter hits it and it starts to get brown,
think it
but
just
then
came.
it gets like cinnamon crunchy brown. And it's very good. And you don't really notice it, you just notice it.
The things I've been noticing on TikTok with food that I try to swipe that only come up before noon when I'm not eating. They take the pan, a hot pan, and they put like either honey or hot honey, your fanned out pear,
Yes.
two pieces, chunks of brie, and then they take that phyllo dough
Yeah.
thing and they
Yeah.
square over that little tiny thing and they bake it.
Yes.
A little more honey on top or egg brush. And
Oh,
then
I've
you
been seeing
flip it
those.
over and
Yep.
you see this pastry. And then I listen to you say, there has to be a way you can come to my house and not have to eat all the things that you are not eating. Like you can still come here and have a treat and find that's your mission now, to find ways to bring joy without, I don't know, saying something stupid, gents, and
Well, that's
feeding
the
people
thing.
what they're not eating.
Everybody comments on what I'm wearing all the time. I haven't really tuned into it for most of my life, other than I sort of notice when people don't say something. It's like when you put out food. If nobody comments on the food,
It sucks.
that's weird. And you're like, that must have sucked, right? So it's like you kind of, same thing with outfits. And I didn't really pay much attention to it until now. It's all the time and very specific. And I'm trying to dress better. It's part of, you want to look better, you want to feel better, dress better. So I'm doing it, and the stuff is coming. And I've noticed the compliments that really have that thoughtfulness about them, where somebody figured out how to compliment you in a way that makes sure that they're not accidentally stepping up to their tits and horse shit.
Is that difficult to do? I'm asking for a friend. Is that so hard to do, to figure out how to compliment somebody without offending them? There are times where I've approached a compliment by saying, this might sound condescending and I don't want it to.
Oh, God. Woo!
But I'm so proud of you. Like, I have no reason. I have no role in this. I've done nothing. My pride doesn't come from I've created this. It comes from you're an exceptional and I'm proud to be your friend kind of thing. I'm proud to be your parent. I'm proud to... So I'll start with that, but that's like the days of my son saying, no offense, but no. Whatever comes next is absolutely offensive. Find something, anything else to say. Hurry up. But
that's an odd one, and I want to jump on it specifically. We had this whole week. I had at least 3 events every single day, most of them interrupting the other. So it's been a very, very busy
back to
week.
back to back to back.
One of them was senior recitals for the senior plays cello, and because it was senior recitals, they all put on fancy dress, and we went to a historic church here for great acoustics, and it was a big, big thing, right? And one of the gals who was a far more accomplished cellist than my son had her solo moment. It's a recital, right?
Okay.
So they're not playing together. They're playing pieces that they've pulled together to present. And it's a packed house and she's up there and the lights on her and she lost her place in the music and she couldn't find it. And so there was that. It was probably 18 seconds, but it felt like 9 minutes worth of silence where she looked at her music and didn't turn it and didn't do anything. And then she blew out a big puff of air and it kind of rolled down the hill from there. And then when she restarted, she was not playing her notes properly. So it was not a great performance for her. Okay.
Wow.
She got all the way to the end of it, finished it. And 2 things happened that make me thrilled. Number 1, she got all the way to the end of it and finished it. And number 2, her teacher, her instructor, did not come out and save her. Did not come out. She's a senior. This is an 18-year-old young woman. She didn't walk out and offer to turn the page. She just let it happen. Do what you're going to do. You're going to be fine. And this is a girl who, now that I sit here and think about it, back in middle school had a similar kind of a moment and left the stage. Now I'm only thinking of that.
Oh my God, progress. Wow.
As I didn't even think of that in the moment because she's so composed. It didn't even occur to me. Same kid. But that's also how long we've been watching these kids. So at the end of the thing, and it's all, I'm talking about this because of the specific compliment you just raised. She was still fully in tears, but afterward there were big cake and gifts for everyone. I mean, it's a scene. It was a farewell kind of a thing. So we're all in this little gathering space and she's just sort of standing there in her beautiful dress, crying, pretending she's not crying at the party, right? And for some reason, she happened to be all alone in the center of this room where people had just whatever was happening. And of course, I made a beeline for her and she saw me coming and thought, oh, fuck. And when you see me coming, that's what you usually think, right? That's absolutely what everybody thinks. Melissa's laughing because, I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm just not. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
What did you say?
Whatever's in your heart, I'm going to grab a hold of it like a fish and pull it all the way out your throat. And then hold it up over your head because we got the fish. Okay. So I made the beeline for her and I'm crying immediately when I see her, right? And she's like, oh, fuck. And she can't get away from me quick enough. So I just grab a hold of her and I squeezed her so all the air left her body, and now she's just weeping. Because at that point, you can't hold shit in.
You gave her permission.
And my hair is so big, you can hide it, right? So she's in there just sort of shaking. And I'm crying, so I can't really talk. It's so funny that I didn't know what the fuck to say to her because it was a disaster. But there was something good in it. And now I'm going to start crying again because I just remember how powerful it was. And it just bubbled out. And I said, I hope you are so proud of yourself because I'm so proud of you. And we just started crying and she's shaking and her shoulders are going.
Stop.
I'm like, do you know what a big deal that was? And I just explained to her and that this was the moment she's going to remember for the rest of her life and that she got through it and that she's a real musician and that I'm still crying about it. But my point to you is you don't need this big, long preamble about it's not okay for you to feel pride for someone because you get to. They did something. It's a prideful moment. So just jump into it. I'm still super crying. I gotta wipe my eyes now.
She made me cry. She made me cry too, that whore. You're not looking at her, dear listener. I'm looking at her. She's a mess. Yes. I just don't want people to feel like I am taking credit for their hard work. Do you know how hard it was to sit there after fucking that up now twice, now that I know of, and to come back from that? That's really, really hard, and trying not to take credit for it. So
just the composure, but that's the thing. I have also heard people. I'm just trying to give you a quicker intro for when you want to be proud of people.
Yeah.
Another weird one that I think also works is when men do it to other men. They say something like, I've heard it in meetings a couple of times, or after we do a big presentation, somebody will say, I don't mean this to sound strange, but I'm really proud of you, right? Or, something like that. I know I'm not your dad, but I feel really proud, right? When you've got a huge age difference, that sort of thing.
Oh, age difference. Do you think that's like a male macho bullshit thing that they're dealing with? Like if it were the 70s, would they say, I don't want to kiss you, but I'm really proud. I don't. Is it that men can't sound sentimental, warm, or like what is?
I think men, and I think all humans sort of lose that with me. So I'm not the best judge. They always. I got kissed in a meeting 4 days ago by a man. Yeah.
What do you mean kissed? What?
I mean kissed. He kissed me. And it's.
Did you shove your hand out to shake his hand or put out a fist bump?
I stood up to see him. He interrupted our meeting because he wasn't in the meeting. I hadn't seen him in a couple of months, and he came in. And I don't work with him directly, but
did you used to make out with him?
No, God, never. And I said, there he is. And he went to do a fist bump, and I stood up like, we're not going to fucking fist bump. And then we had that bro hug where you go the smack, smack, smack on the back. And he did that. And then he leaned over and gave me a smackaroony on the cheek. How you doing? It was not it was like this. I guess I'm like a gal pal.
To all men? Is that what you're saying?
Unfortunately for me. That's like that man who grabbed my wrist and shook my camera while I was taking a photo. And he had to touch me, so he had to shake my hand. You couldn't pat me on the back. You couldn't. I mean, it would have been worse if he just stepped in front of the photo and I took a picture of him.
How I don't know what would have been more hand invasive. Gently on my shoulder if you must make contact and wait for me to take the picture.
But the second the contact happens, I will triple it. So, I mean, I guess I'm giving off that vibe whether you've done it before or not. Like, he grabbed my hand and I immediately didn't go to get him off me, which is all I was thinking. I leaned my head because I was like, if I pat you with my head, you'll go away. But also, if somebody puts their arm around you, I grab them twice tight. I mean, who's somebody that comes in for physical contact? Or are you, dare I say, are you a little prickly? Do you give off prickles? Do you give off the prickle vibe? Are you a prickle pickle?
It depends. I'm a prickle pickle. It depends on who it is. Like if I'm going to, I don't go anywhere. You want to start there? If I go to a dinner for my husband, for work, I guess part of the time it depends on how high I am and what I'm wearing. Those are my two filters of who gets to touch me. If I'm really high and not wearing a lot, anybody can touch me. It's
okay.
Fine. But no, if I'm going, it's
good note.
But you're at a business meeting. If I went to a business dinner, which I have coming up next week, I've got some agita about that. Nobody's touching me. There are a couple of people who I want to roll and over to and hug, but no. And I will report back about all the things that Stuart's coworkers do if that's the case.
Okay. Business meeting. Swang.
No, it's a dinner for my husband, and I am his arm candy.
Congratulations. That's very
I'm going to be handing out Swedish fish. That's why from his arm. That's why I'm his arm candy.
It. Well, I want to hear about that, but I also have one quick thing that I want to tell you and show you, and it's a visual. So I came here thinking.
Great on podcasts. Keep it up.
I came here thinking, this is the day. This is the day, friends. This is the day we're going to videotape ourselves doing the podcast for a BTS so we can put this out and you can really see, and then we'll just take off and everyone, Prince, King Charles will be listening to it, and everybody will know, and then he'll get up there with his big swollen meat hands and tell us all how great it is. What's the matter with his fucking hands? Did you see his hands?
Nothing about him is appealing.
Giant red sausages. Now you have to see. You thought that skinny girl who has the transforming cars and shows her belly button all the time had that weird fucking thumb. Megan Fox. You thought she had a weird thumb?
The topher thumb, yeah.
Okay.
She has a toe thumb, but yeah.
She's a beauty queen
Compared
to King Sausage Hands. You have to look at, they look painful. They look like his meat is going to burst out of his knuckle skin. It's so weird. Now everybody's like, I got to turn off this podcast and go look at King Charles' hands.
Camilla is such a lucky girl. She's such
so
a lucky girl.
She's so gross. She's just the whole thing. No, thanks. And I'm going to get off him because I don't like him.
Get off him.
My point to you is I was going to video this. This was going to be the day. And are we doing it?
Sure.
No, of course not. No, of course not. We're not doing it. Here comes the visual. My son, once again, wore husband's tux. Why can't I say tuxed? Fuck. Okay. Don't cut this out. So, sorry, listeners. So he wore the the tuxedo shoes. What do you think tuxedo shoes look like after they've been well loved? Just picture a pair of shoes that have been worn, okay? I feel like he had fun based on looking at the shoes. If you don't know, tuxedo shoes are standard men's Oxford lace-ups, but they're patent leather, so they're super, super shiny and polished, right? Which typically means that they're not made of leather ever to begin with. They're just plastic, right? So they were just never that high a quality of a shoe. But how much fun do you think he had? And you start doing it, do, do, do. I'm going to pick up the shoes and show you.
All right. I absolutely know that this child had the most fun that was the entire heel is separated from the shoe. The entire heel.
Seen,
what?
Have you ever seen screws in a shoe? Do you see the screws?
I do see the screws. I used to work next to Abbott's Shoe Repair on Main Street in Newark, Delaware, and I've seen what you're doing, but that's after 70 years of owning a shoe. Yeah, that's crazy. The whole sole's coming off. The heel, the sole. He had fun, is what she's saying. And here's my beautiful, oh God, the toe kick is also worn down to nothing. I wonder whose ass he was kicking while that happened.
How do you rip the heel off the shoe with visible, I want to say it's 1.5 inches of screw sticking out. How was there 1.5 inches of screw in your shoe face down? It's like there's a drug in there. Does he have that kill you switch? Is there something in the shoe? These are fucked up shoes.
Like the one that's in your tooth that you chew and it kills you? The cyanide tooth?
I was trying to kill other people. I didn't want to go to suicide.
I'm a spy though. I'm a spy. So if I'm caught,
a cyanide tooth. Yeah.
So that falls under the category of boys being boys.
Yeah, maybe.
You have 3 sons. When is it excusable for you to use that phrase?
I've actually never used that phrase.
Oh,
and
I love you.
I chastise parents who do because it's such a weird one. It's such a weird one.
Yeah. We left a school when my kids were younger because boys were being boys. I was going to... Well, we moved to a much better school district. Sorry, guys. It's just the truth. For those of you who are listening from our old school district, it's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine.
Come along with us. We'll judge you.
Blue ribbon 20 years ago once is absolutely fine. Keep it up. So I've heard that phrase throughout the course of my life. That's just boys being boys. 100 times too many. Which one is too many? That is not okay. Teach your boys. Like, why is it? It's always from a parent that does not hands-on raise their kids.
I don't go that far. I laud you for your open, active, visceral judgment of others.
Oh,
I really
thank you.
I do laud you.
Sit next to me. Yeah.
I'm just trying to say, when you look at parents in the teacher meeting and say, you don't check your kids' social media, that's abuse. You're a shitty parent.
I did that.
Like, you fucking said those words.
I did that.
Loud. I was like, whoa. Not really sure how we're friends, but okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Because I fall into the shitty parent category. Here's the reason that I absolutely am beyond frustrated with the catch-all phrase, boys will be boys. Not so much that it is advocating I'm powerless in this situation to change anything.
What do you want me to do? It's just boys
parent.
doing their thing.
I'm a parent. You're acting as if I control my child. Yeah, I kind of
at certain ages.
The standard.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the reason that I really, really, really get frustrated with this phrase. It's actively saying we live in a construct, in a society, in a developmental framework that means this wildly destructive behavior,
inappropriate, yeah,
is a phase and a rite of passage that all must suffer through. And it's unfortunate. And
for
we
you,
don't like it.
It's collateral
for all
damage,
of us.
right?
We don't like it. We don't want it. It's not that we're powerless to change it. We've simply decided
it's okay
that we're going to accept it. That's what they're saying when they say boys will be boys. They say, we have all decided that if somebody wants to, take some scissors and cut your daughter's braid off on the school bus, oh man, I wish that hadn't happened. Like, that's the level of ridiculous. I know she's making that crazy one.
God. Like that. I actually watched that happen in my youth, by the way.
Yeah, everybody has one of these stories.
I watched it happen.
And the answer, okay, well, it's just Lord of the Flies, I guess. I mean,
so I've told you before how I have 3 dogs, and these kids at a certain time walk up the street behind my backyard and they give my dogs shit when they're out. So now I can't let them out between 3:30 and 4 because these kids who are wild animals and boys being boys are walking up, and when my dogs are barking, they're like, "Arr, arr, arr," right back, and they're like tossing things at them and faking running at them to scare them and like doing
I don't know how I don't know this, because I would have killed those children.
Right. So I now don't let them out. My daughter was home for spring break or something, and she went out and was like, get the fuck. She lost her mind.
Right. That's exactly what you do.
But this is a 10-year-old boy. What do you think he's going to do with that information? That I found a way to get to a semi-grown up and I'm going to free. It just became worse. It didn't make it better. Let's say that. So I stopped letting them out. My son's like, put a sticky pad on the door, Mom. Because even if they want to go out and that's their time, you have to remember not to let them out. Because when they're out there and they're barking at other people and they're all frenzied, they start to attack each other because they're all whipped into a frenzy. They're dogs. I want to be clear. They're dogs. So it's not just dogs being dogs, like stop right there. So my husband
But even in that context, you refuse to accept. You refuse to accept
I don't
the
let
natural
them do it. Right.
innate genetic behavior of these animals. You refuse to accept it.
Right. I put an end to them attacking it. Right. Each other. So cut to, I love it when you say that, cut to, here we are, regular Tuesday afternoon. My husband is sitting in the dining room. He is calling complaints back because buck stops here is really his thing. Everybody who complains, he has to call back. He's calling back complaints. He's sitting on meetings. He's doing work for an attorney. He's busy, right? Too busy for, I don't know, some curly-haired blonde who lives in the house and too busy for everything.
I've jumped in. I know you don't like me to jump in.
What?
But the weight of that realization just sat on my shoulders so fucking hard. And I want to make sure I heard it right. Your husband's job, at least once a day, week, is to get on the phone and call people who are angry with him and expect him to make them not angry. That's his fucking job.
Every day, yeah.
And he's the biggest person at the job.
Sure is. So you're getting a phone call from the director.
So he has to do the worst job.
Correct. Although he had the 2 worst jobs, which was giving everybody a rectal and calling every complaint. But I think mid-levels now give rectals.
I feel like that's too much school for this outcome. I mean, if something's going on, it's not right. It's not right.
Yeah, you don't get paid enough for this. But I said, sometimes I'll say, pretend like I'm one of your complaints. Speak nicely to me. Like let's talk this through. And he's like, okay, like you're one of my complaints. I'm so sorry for your experience, Melissa. I'm like, okay, never mind. So he's sitting there with the weight of the anger of all these people, the weight of the 7 jobs he's managing.
Wow.
And somebody rings the doorbell.
Respect and profound sadness. Yeah.
Right behind him, somebody rings the doorbell. And then the dogs go ballistic and kind of start to attack each other right there in front of him because they're whipped into a frenzy. And
something happened. I got to bite. You're here. Come here. Bite.
Somebody. I've got to kill something. You're here. Let's do it. So I'm upstairs in the room above him and I kind of look out the window and I see 3 little boys running away. First of all, I thought ding dong ditch was something you did at night.
Oh.
When you had so they're not only boys being boys, they're dumb.
Like Donkey Kong.
So like they're
tonight on Malvern Makes a Difference. 3 youths shot dead in the middle of the street with dog leashes tied around their
There
necks.
you go. Yeah, no. So I'm like, oh, and I have a history. Remember, I told you, think back, we left an entire school district because it was an incredibly shitty year of kids.
Because you're too stupid.
And I didn't want to go with them for the next 7 years. You know, I didn't want to be with them in their, I don't know, journey to learn to be a human and not boys being boys. So I don't need your fucking journey. I have my own 2 kids on their journeys, and none of them are taking them down a path of stupidity yet. Little did I know. I'm just kidding. So they run away, and he's got nothing on his feet, right? He walks outside barefoot, and he's like, guys, did you need something? Like, he's still like a mensch. He's still this like good dude who's like, there must be a reason that they rang the doorbell. Maybe.
Well, but that does twofold. I absolutely see exactly who you are and can now follow up with your parents because you didn't give me a chance to get to the door before you physically ran away after ringing it.
Right. I'm sorry I didn't answer the door fast enough for you. Here, I'm here. Did you need something? Right. Maybe you cut yourself and needed a doctor, and maybe one day you will, and I won't be there.
Right.
So they didn't answer. They crawled under a tree, and then they treed their way all the way back to their homes. Super. Boys being boys, I guess.
Monkey style. Yeah.
So then there's a ring at the door again. It's like 2-3 days. The next day, maybe it was the next
dramatic.
day. The next day. And
this is Pedro Aldemar eating a sandwich. All right, keep going. He's super fascinated.
So
Whatever his name is.
I walk outside, and there are 3 boys, and I kind of push them back a little just so the dogs can't see us freaking out and whatever. And I said, hello, gentlemen. I have shoes on, by the way. Hello, gentlemen. And they said, hi. We came here to apologize. Yesterday, we were just out looking for trouble. That's
What?
a quote. That's a fucking quote from this boy.
I don't buy it.
That's what I said. So it's like, it was really nice for him to apologize. I'm like,
Lie.
listen to what they said. And
I don't buy it.
So I have them for a
They were secretly planting some shit while they were doing. This was a distraction technique. They were fucking you actively.
Well,
right
wait,
now.
that's not even where I was going. I was going with there are 3, the verbiage he's using.
That's a Trojan teen. All right.
These are not teens yet. Could you imagine how bad this is going to be? We got to move again.
Trojan tot. Yeah.
We got to move again. So he's like, we were just looking for trouble. I'm sorry. That was a stupid thing to do. It occurs to me now. These are parental words. Have you caught them yet?
Check your phone to read it. Yeah.
It occurs to me now. You know, a lot of people are working from home, and your husband could have been working from home. And I said, if you turn around and look right behind me, that's exactly what he's doing. And I said, it occurs to me that we haven't met officially.
Right.
So I put my hand out and I said, my name's Melissa. Look, I think it is so much harder for boys to be boys when you know the person and the situation you're dealing with, right?
Right.
I met Ethan. I met Marco. There's another one. I met all 3 of them. The speaker is the name who I forgot right now, but I'm 50. It'll come to me. So I shook hands with all of them. And I said, these dogs here are all rescues, and they're all crackheads. So when you do what you do, ringing the bell, yelling at them on the street in the back, they don't know how to process what is happening, and it gets ugly. I'm sure you've noticed. Have you noticed? And they're like, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will try not to let them out when you're walking that back street. If you guys could just ignore them when you walk by. And then I hear feet coming from behind them, and it's one of the mothers.
Oh, okay. Trying to make sure that whatever you're telling them is actual.
I think she was trying to make sure, and she's the one who gave me the line. And I almost lunged. You know, it's just boys being boys. No, they're now smarter than you are because they looked like they were I don't know. It was pretty vapid in there, but they looked like they were learning. yeah, maybe if we want to do something stupid to them, blow up their mailbox instead.
Right.
Because coming around the house
Steal
around the
this
dog,
car and
hot
6
wire,
figures in cash.
exactly.
Sure.
Let's see what's in her car.
Take all the doors off the hinges and light them on fire in the front yard.
But don't mess with the dogs or the gent who's working right there, calling back my mom who's complaining. So she comes over and says, "Oh, gives me the boys being boys," and I thought, even though they had like a puppet hand up their back using words they heard from a dog, I thought they handled it way better than she did, because her answer was something that, I don't know, made me want to kill her. I don't know. She seemed nice enough, but boys will be boys is something that Jess's daughter heard when she was sent home from school for being dress coded for wearing leggings. Like, well,
oh God,
she needs to wear clothes that aren't going to motivate our children to. How about you teach your boys to keep their fucking eyes, hands, and mouths to themselves?
Well, I don't want to turn this into a whole thing, but that's what I'm good at. So we last night, after everyone was successfully en route to prom, it was, let's sit down, let's have a bowl of pasta, let's have
comfort,
let's have a fire on the back porch, and let's have some wine, and let's eat those everything and be
sounds great.
It was lovely, right? And I heard about a friend who actively insulted a 17-year-old girl, and this is someone who I used to be
a grown-up.
It was a person I had really, really enveloped in our circle and was spending a lot of time with. And for some reason, at another similar gathering where they were all at her house, where this, we had a handful of couples over last night, and one of their kids was over at this other house, different school, different family, all the things. And the girlfriend of the child in question who's at our house, right? The mother of the house looks at the girlfriend and says, "Well, surely you're not going out in that." This child has showed up at her house wearing an outfit so that they can all gather at her house, and then they're all going to go out to whatever thing together, right? And she's like, "Well, you're not wearing that. You're going to change, right?" To a 17-year-old girl. And if you don't have any, Melissa's face has dropped to the floor. I mean, been around,
you're out of your fucking mind.
Just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge how crazy that is right now, because there's more. You keep going. You tell me how that felt to you. Okay.
I want to punch her in the face. This child who left the house feeling good about herself.
Thank you.
After
you got it.
Dressing in something that made her feel confident, putting on makeup to a degree of, took pictures with friends.
Bought this 4 months ago and planned to wear it today.
I think I know who this person is, and she has a son. So this young girl is going to a boy's house. So immediately she's also insecure. So to walk in and hear from a trusted grown-up of a boy whose house you're going to hear that, I would have been like, you know what, guys? I think I have diarrhea and need to go. I would have crawled into bed.
So here's how the rest of it goes. And just for a visual, it doesn't matter, but it's a factor. So I want you to put in your head the teen in question. And she's really not so much a teen as she is a highly accomplished young woman. She has a scholarship to the most difficult to get into public school here, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, scholarship, 4 years, right? Wow. That's hard to do. There's a lot of people trying to go to that school,
good for
right?
Her. Yeah.
Yep. So she is highly intelligent, highly accomplished.
I want to punch her.
Her face is like an angel. She's just a beauty. Her insides are prettier than her outsides, and her hobby for her whole life is to be a dancer. So she is stunning from top to toe. She is toned. She is a physical athlete, the likes of which you've never seen. She is a vision to behold. She can wear what the fuck she want. Okay?
What was she wearing?
So this is a stunning,
not that it matters,
person.
not that anything, but
she
what made this woman,
I was
parents,
there
say
as
something?
it was reported to me. She was wearing a typical of the style, tight-fitting,
I have a daughter,
short outfit. So it was whatever it was perfect for her body, but it was adult-ish. It was not in any way revealing or creepy or weird. It was just that thing of you're standing in the presence of someone who's gorgeous. And sometimes that's, as an adult, when the girls sometimes wear shorts that are so short. What's wrong? They have legs on them. You've seen them in a bathing suit. Can't they wear shorts? Like, that's how it goes. And I'm that person.
The thing is, these young girls are like art.
Yes.
Right? So you're sitting and you're staring at art.
And I think what you should be thinking is,
wow,
I can't stop looking at you. And you don't say this.
Well, that's creepy. You don't say it if you're a man, but as a woman, you could say, you look gorgeous.
So she was there,
and then walk away.
Right. Wearing whatever she was planning to wear as a rising college freshman. You know what these girls look like. Yeah. You've seen them in the world. And you think, oh, okay, are you a model? Like that's where you should be going.
You're looking
and this
for
is
the
also
cameras.
someone who is in a very tight, loving, long-term boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with someone who is not inhabiting the house of this mother talking.
Yep.
Right? So there's no risk of any, like, what are you even concerned about what she's not doing anything. She's not coming for your boy. She's not, you got no connection.
No skin in the game.
This is
Why
a
would
friend
you just insult?
Of your son. This is the girlfriend of your son's friend. It's not even in the friend group. You don't even have standing to make any comment to her. Okay? On and on. And they've been coming around your house and coming around your kids for 7 years. Right? So there's so many levels of what the fuck are you doing? And then after that, and I'm being told the face fell apart. Like, what are you talking about? Are you, trying to process this insult that you've just received and this awareness that you are wildly inappropriate, young child? Let me help you before you get hurt. Like, that's how it was delivered. Then the mother goes on to say, it looks a little hookerish. I just don't know if you should be outside wearing this. Hookerish. The girl left the house, sat in the car, and cried for an hour and a half.
That sounds about right.
And the boyfriend sat and tried to deflate the situation. And more words were said that I don't even need to go into podcast to say. What the fuck are you doing?
If a grown-up ever told me when I was 17 that I looked like a hooker, I don't know. I can't. Like, that's... Who takes the legs out of incredible legs? I'm hearing out of at the knees. Who takes a 17-year-old who is confident? By the way, here we are at the end of school, right? We're here. We're finishing our finals. We're going to the prom. This is the stage of life where we are. I'm not telling you what day it was. I wasn't there, but I'm telling you, she's about to embark on being this huge person in a much bigger sea, this little fish. And she has just been told by obviously an adult that she trusted. She went into that she looks like a hooker. Are you out of your mind? Why don't people think, do you think this is your COVID theory coming out?
We had a 4-minute back and forth when this was relayed to me. It was relayed to me in the, I can't believe this. It was so hurtful. I just don't even know how to process it. I'm still angry. My son is livid. Like, it was just all over the place. Like, how do we even process this? And we spent about 4 minutes on it. And then we're like, this is not worth our time. We're not going to talk about it anymore. And the immediate knee-jerk reaction is,
let's build up that girl.
This mother didn't know. This mother didn't know what she was doing. This mother wasn't intending to be insulting. This mother didn't go with the intent.
I don't care what your intentions are.
I say bullshit. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you knew that it would be insulting, and you decided that you somehow needed to mother this highly accomplished young adult in fashion. You decided that you needed to insert yourself in there. That alone is insulting. It's just, the whole thing makes me I'm starting to get sweaty. I get so fucking mad. It's like you heard this if you're an OG listener. Years ago, I told you that a completely different parent stole the purse of one of another parent when we were at
I love that scandal.
Event.
Yeah.
She physically stole the purse. Physically picked up the Louis Vuitton purse or whatever it was, YSL purse, and walked away with it and tried to get away with taking this purse and then denied it, and cops were called and all the rest of it. And to the day, I remember the feedback from this show, which was the only thing worse would be if she had stole from one of the kids. And that's how I feel this event was.
She stole confidence.
It's like stealing from a kid.
Yes. Self-worth, confidence. She absolutely cut her off at the knees. She is now walking on ass cheeks.
I don't get it. It's just, it was.
I don't mean to complicate this more, and I might cut it out, but isn't she a therapist?
As I sit here retelling all of this, I feel my skin crawl because I don't like talking about people. I don't like doing it private. I can't even believe I'm doing it in public.
I can cut all of it out if you want, but
You probably should, but I also feel like, as I've said before, I put things on here and I have to stand by it. If it comes out of my mouth, I have to stand by it. And it came out of my mouth in private in my own home for 4 minutes. And it came out of my mouth here. And I feel like I have to say it because there is no reason on God's earth to insult a teen, to actively insult a teen.
A 10-year-old who's fucking with your dogs, insult away.
You didn't insult them.
No,
you didn't insult them. You instructed them, and frankly,
I befriended them.
You gave them a consequence for actively attacking and riling up your dog. If they threw things at your dogs, yeah, that's worth a response from you. That's crazy. But who in their right mind would look at any other human? Who would look at it? Let's do it like this. Let's play this game, since I'm the one who is the raging bitch in this case right now. That's what I'm being, and I don't love it. But let's just, for the sake of discussing it, I'm trying to help myself understand why I'm so mad and so hurt, and why it's like I've been like, why do I feel like there's distance there? Oh, right, because who would ever fucking do this? I'm still so angry.
It's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight.
Let's say you're in a cocktail party with peers. Let's say you're in a cocktail party with someone who is higher than you in the, however that works in the social order, right? Your peer, another adult, a highly accomplished adult. And you look at that adult and say, are you really wearing that to this party we're all going to because you look hooker-ish? Would you say that to someone who is at your fucking level as a peer? Imagine it. Would you say it?
You're out of your mind. I wouldn't say that to anyone ever, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. What the fuck?
Especially somebody who is at an age of insecurity, who is at an age of developing every sense of self. It's not kind. I'll tell you that. And be kind of a bitch it's way past that. You know, even my theory in life, it's way past that. Yeah, I'm surprised.
You know better.
Know.
You just know. Everyone knows better than this. There is no. I did that dance of, well, I'm sure, and I can try to, and it's like, no. That's the point where you absolutely know. You've read books. You've lived on the planet. You understand how things work. You just don't act. You don't attack someone. What are you doing? Okay. Anyway,
dear listener, Amy's theory for a while was that people in COVID lost the ability to have conversations or to say anything. Is that what this is? Can you please, dear listener, write us and tell us your thoughts on what the fuck would possess someone to insult a teenage girl as an adult in the world?
On a big party night, in a group setting with lots of people watching.
brilliantobservations@gmail.com, Instagram and Twitter at Listen Brilliant, or go to Facebook, Brilliant Observations. And once you are there, you can go to Brillob Squad and answer. If you're not already a member, you can answer no questions and become a member immediately by, I don't know, having a heartbeat and showing up. Because showing up, I've learned, is 60% of the battle. Is it 60? I don't remember the number, but just show the fuck up. Let us know what you think. Tell us your thoughts. I do have one more question for you.
Yes, ma'am. I'd love to hear it.
It was on the board for this week. Keys. Who has keys? Are keys
so
canceled?
Weird, right? No.
Who's got keys?
I've got so many keys all the time, and I love them.
Yes. So keys used to be the symbol sign of either a janitor or like that big key ring with all the keys, or the super, or...
It was a high-low. To have the keys either meant that you were kind of low on the chain or at the tippity top. There's nobody in the middle. Yep.
Right. What keys do you have now?
Well, I still have a key to my automobile. I have a key to I have multiple keys to my house.
Do you fob? Key or fob?
Well, I don't insert it into the vehicle, but you could. It's not a key. But you could. There's a receptacle for it sometime if you'd like to, I think.
Okay.
I don't ever use
50-50. Okay.
I have a physically cut from the machine key to my house. To all the doors to my house are actual insert the key doors.
When has that happened?
I don't have electro. Oh, when you put the key in?
When have you put a key in a door?
When I'm trying to see if this handful of keys that I have actually work the door.
That's what I did. That's why I'm coming to you today.
Because we're leaving, and I want to make sure if I lock this door for the first time, I can unlock it later.
Right. If I lock this door.
Because the garage door is always open.
And that's what I'm saying. Keys.
Yeah.
High, low. You either are very important or I mean, you are the last resort. It's one or the other. Dear listener, are you still holding keys? I have 3 cars at this house, and they each have a fob. And it's a real pain in the ass because fobs are not the size of a flat key. They're monster chunks that I've put on a lanyard, and all 3 of them. So one of them looks like a car and 2 are boxes, like these. Keys, they are the downfall, really. Everything is a code. Even I have 2 houses and no keys. That's weird, right?
Well, you do keypads, though, right?
I have a keypad.
My bitchy, over-entitled children are constantly complaining, why can't we get a keypad? It's got a keypad. I'm like, okay, if I got a keypad, you would forget the code because you have keys to the house and you leave them like seeds to plant gardens all over town. So what's the difference? You're not going to be responsible with it. So why do I have to engage a second technology for you to fuck it up?
Here's the joy of a keypad. We have one at the shore house. It loses its battery faster than us coming back down there. So
it's not hardwired? That's ridiculous.
It's not hardwired. The keypad that's on the door that you're opening.
Yes, I have no idea if hardwiring keypads is a thing. It just seems to me that it should be, right?
Nope. Every time we go, every weekend we go, beep, beep. You have to replace the batteries in that fucking thing. But my point is, we open the garage door with electricity and we walk in that door. There's no key. There's nothing of the sort. And not a fan. Like I'm a fan of getting in and out. But what happens if the cleaning lady who hasn't ever been there comes and locks a door?
Right.
We're fucked.
Well, and that's the thing. Like our friends in Maine, several times I've been at their house.
They don't lock their door.
As we're all exiting, they scream from the street, "Don't lock the door." I'm like, I love your security system. It's my favorite. Put a sign in the yard that says door unlocked. Just leave it standing open. Don't close it.
The door is ajar. Oh, okay. Okay.
And the reason, of course, is because there are no keys to that door. They would have no way of knowing how to get into the house.
I don't think there are locks on those doors either, by the way. I don't know that you need keys.
It's actually like one of those kitchen swinging doors.
Yes.
It just opens and closes.
It's like a Western. The whole house, the whole town is a Western.
I love them so much.
It's a half door.
I love them so much. Westerns. They don't make any sense when it comes to that stuff. Never lock the car. Never leave the windows down. Keys in the car. You could. Oh my God! I forgot to tell you this. So we had some folks over last night. Post prom. Post everything. Let's sit and decompress for a second. And we had invited their eldest, who wouldn't have a companion here because he goes to a different school, and the one of ours that matches up with him is at prom. So you gonna come for dinner? No, I don't think so, because why would I hang out with my
grown-ups? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So then, a couple hours into the evening, the doorbell rings, and my husband leans back from his chair on the porch, glances down the long hall, sees at the front door, it's your son. And he waves them in because we had left the door open today because we're there. So, and in he walks. And as he approaches us, we realize that's not your son. So we've ushered in this stranger into our house.
What?
So he comes walking in just tentatively because he knows that
I don't know these people, right?
Nor has he ever been here. And we're all
hanging out.
So now he's standing in my living room and we're on the porch and the door's wide. The way that our porch works, we've got one of those accordion doors. So we're sort of basically outside, inside. And anyway, so we're looking at him and we're like, hey. And he goes, hi. I didn't know if you guys know, but you got a car running in your front driveway.
Oh my God. My husband does this all the time.
Running in the driveway.
Is their other car a Tesla?
This one is not a Tesla.
No, their other car.
No, they're not Tesla people.
My husband's brain set is, you get out of the car, it's off. No, you need to turn it off turn it off.
So it was so we're like, after about a few minutes of, you're not the child we thought you were.
Right.
You're in my house. We've done something that doesn't make sense. Like there was a lot of nonsensical stuff. So then I finally was like, well, thank you for telling us.
Who the hell are you?
Guest gets up to go check it out. He sort of stumbles through this thing of, we're across the street. We're playing basketball. And I kind of look at him and I say, thank you for, and who are you? Because I'm like, let's just cut to it. He's like, I'm Sam. I live across the street and we connected the dots.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay. So I said, well, Sam, you win some brownies. So I went and I got him a huge, and they were still warm, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Now I need a brownie.
I couldn't find the paper plates, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I took a gigantic paper towel, doubled it up, and then 2 palmfuls I loaded, double stacked, of brownies, and they were warm, so they were almost like too hot to hold. And I'm like, well, here you go, Sam. And so I piled this mountain of cooked chocolate in his hands, and he goes walking outside. And he goes, I got brownies. And then across the street, this whole bunch of basketballers goes, woo! So, car had been running for a good 2 hours in the driveway. We think it had to do with keys and key fobs. And because both passenger and driver had keys and key fobs, when you think you've automatically
left the car,
walked away from car,
she left her bag in the car.
Other automatic key didn't. And now,
that is fucking crazy.
2 hours. How long did the basketballers watch this before they thought,
they must be coming out any minute? I'm going to
actively walk over to a strange house I've never been in, be a do-gooder in the pitch dark of night.
That's a good
after
kid.
Witnessing a problem. That's a lot of.
That's a good kid.
You think through, right?
I'll tell you, the 3 little
Sam
boys
deserved those brownies
that came to my house, rang the bell and ran, are not the boys who will be telling you your car is on. They will be the boys who will be taking your car while
they
it
will
is
now,
on.
and you know why?
Why?
Because it occurs to me now.
Hey, dear listener, thank you so much for listening. It occurs to me now that you keep showing up. So thank you for turning us on. I hope in some way we turned you on. I can't imagine how, but it's possible you have a weird fetish. So bingo, bango, as Amy likes to say. Thank you so much. We love you.